Hey there, today I'll be showing you how to draw Genji from Overwatch. Now, with this character, I'm going to be drawing him facing forward so that we can focus on working on our symmetry. So let's start by drawing a line straight down the forehead, from the top down towards the visor. So up here, we're just going to draw and pull a line straight down towards us. From here, I'm going to flare out two lines going up along the side of the visor. So from here, I want to curve up to the top, somewhere around here on the side of the head. So curving in towards the center. Now, because we want a balanced composition, I want to make sure that this curve on the right goes up to the same height as I have on the left. So I'm going to start on the inside here and curve up towards the right. Now you can see that I'm using my opposite hand to sort of use as a measure to try to figure out how and far things should be placed. So on the left side here, I'm going to draw a line angling up towards that center point. And I'm going to go back left and right just to make sure that I'm doing the same motion back and forth. And then from this side, we're just going to go and draw a horizontal line across. Again, going to the right side to make sure we're matching the same size. And from here, I'm going to curve up and in towards that top point. Let's do the same thing on the right side. It's coming in like that. Now from here, I'm going to draw the side flares coming out. So from this point, I'm just going to come down at a slightly steeper angle than we have on top here. Coming down. And on the right side, I'll do the same thing. Okay. From here, we're going to angle in the short line. And then from here, we're going to go straight across towards this line and then just curve down the top edge of the visor. So from here, I'm just going to draw straight across and then curve it down. Let's do the same thing on the right side. And this time, I'm going to start on the inside, curving up and then going straight across to that side. From here, let's draw in the little eye slit. So right here on the left side, I'm just going to draw an angled line. And on the right, I'll do an angled line. And as I'm doing this, I'm just looking at the spacing between here and here, making sure that they're roughly the same distance. From here, I'm going to draw a straight line across, a little short line on both sides. And then from here, we're going to come right in towards a center point here. Drawing a straight line in and making sure that this is lined up with the center line here. Going up on the right side. Now if you want, you can go in and just thicken up the bottom edge and the outside edge. So going in a little bit thicker. You want to try to keep this as consistently the same thickness all the way around. And then this final line here across the bottom. That looks pretty good. Okay, from here we're going to take these sides and come down towards the jawline. So from this top point on the left, we'll curve down towards the jaw. And now this point is slightly lower than that center point there. Do the same thing on the right side. Again, making sure that they're at the same height because we're focusing on symmetry here. From this point, I'm going to draw a line down towards the chin. From here, I'm going to take that line and go right into that point with a slight curve that's going this way. Do the same thing on the right side. Let's go ahead and draw in some side flares on the side of this helmet. So from this point, I'm draw an angled line going out, again on both sides. Now, because I'm doing a mirror, I'm just making sure that I'm getting the right angles on both sides and getting this in the proper length of the line. From here, I'm going to come in. Now, I'm looking at that point there, going in. And from here, I'm going to come down just past the chin, a straight line. Down, and then these two lines are going to come down to a center point here. So I'm going to extend this line down and then take this end and just curve it right into that point. And then the same on the right side. Let's do a little detail on the side here. So from the side here, from this corner, I'm going to come down, draw an angle line going down, and then from this point I'm going to go up and going in the opposite direction. Connect that with a straight line across. Let's do the same thing on the right side. Coming down, across, and then connecting it at the end. Okay, let's draw the little antennas or the side flares that go up. So from here on this side, I'm going to go right about here, draw an angled line going up. I'm going to cap it off with a short line, and then I'm going to pull this straight down. We're going to do the same thing on the right side. So making sure we get the same height, I'm going to start on the inside line. Going straight down, going out with a short line. Now this one has to go past this line here down to about here. I'm just going to aim a line right into that side there. Let's draw the top of the head. So from the side of this line here, I'm going to curve in behind that point and continue on the right side. Then here there seems to be a couple angled lines just for a little bit of stitch detail. Okay, so we got majority of the head. Let's get into the body. So I'm going to work my way down the neck towards the upper shoulder. So down here in the middle of the throat, there seems to be like a hexagon shape here. So on either side of the point of the chin, I'm going to draw 2 angled lines coming out. And I'm going to come in, 2 angled lines, 2 short angled lines coming in, and a straight line across the bottom to connect it. Under here, I'm going to draw a little curve, kind of like that. Let's draw the sides of the neck detail here. So from this point in the jaw, I'm going to curve down and in. Do the same thing on the right side. Getting the same length. We're going to round out the ends on both sides. And then here I'm going to pull that right underneath the chin. This one, let's pull that right underneath the chin there. From here, let's go over to the trapezius, of just the area between the neck and the shoulders. So from this point here, I'm going to make the shoulders quite wide. So right about here. So this point is where the trapezius meets the shoulder. So from this point, I'm going to curve down to the shoulder. The curve that goes out. Now from here, I want to go across to the right side, making sure that that length is going to be the same length. So from this corner, curving to the shoulder line right there. Let's round out the ends. So I'm just going to round them out. A slight angle going outwards, so it's kind of like this. From here, I'm going to curve up towards the head. I'm going to make it a little bit thicker as I go up. So it gets a little bit wider. And right about here, I'm going to go straight up in an angle to that point there, the starting point. Going to the right side, we're going to do the same thing, but in reverse. So we're going to come down at an angle. Now, see this distance here? I kind of went a little bit wider, but that's okay. We can go back and fix that later. Curving in to that point in the shoulder there. Now from here, we're going to draw the top edge of the chest. So in the center here, so I'm going to draw the chest down to here. So the sternum is going to be about here. So the top edge of the chest will come down to about here. So what I want to do is I'm going to start on this corner. I'm going to go in, work my way in towards the center. So coming in with an angled line. So here, I want to make sure that the angled line is the same. And then coming down at an angle on both sides. Like this. And then a straight line across. Now I'm keeping my eye on the center line. I don't want things to shift over too much. So you can see that this line is a little bit longer. So I'm just going to extend this a little bit more. From here, I'm going to angle up and in. Okay, so I'm keeping my eye on that center line. Going across, 2 short lines. Now from here, I'm just going to come down 2 lines like that. I leave it like that for now. I'm going to work my detail in the inside here first. Okay, so there seems to be a little trim that goes across here. So I'm going to start above these 2 points in the middle like that. From here, I'm going to angle down on both sides. You can see that this angle is the same as this angle that I have on either side here. Going across with a straight line. This. Now in here, there's a little detail. So in between this line and here, I'm going to draw a shorter line and then connect it into that point there. Now we're going to draw a little bit more detail. So inside here, I'm just going to create a center point so I can keep my left and right sides separated. So from this point in the neck area, I'm going to come in on both sides in an angle. And I'm going to pull 2 lines straight down on top of this line there. Now there's these 2 collarbone pieces that come out on either end, so I'm going to have to work this out slowly, starting from the inside, working my way out. So right in here, see this line here, I'm going to move up and just draw a line just above, like that. So left and right again. Now I'm aiming this way. So I'm going to draw 2 lines going out. So it almost creates sort of like a half square. From here, I'm going to angle 2 lines going in, and doing that on the right side as well. Now I'm going to draw 2 lines coming out. So aiming for that shoulder. 2 short lines. Now going back out again, so we're going to do the mirror of this bottom area here. Going out like this. Now if I'm going too fast, you can always pause the video, get caught up, and start up again. From this point, I'm going to go right into that trapezius detail on the shoulder. So going up, 2 lines right in there. Now we're just going to finish it off with a little bit of detail in behind. So from this point, I'm just going to go underneath this collarbone detail and right up to that throat. Same thing on this side, so starting up at the top and working my way backwards into there. Okay, so we got majority of the upper shoulder area. Let's work our way down towards the chest. So up here, and this point here, I'm going to curve and round out the sides of the chest. Starting on the left side, I'm going to round out like this. Same thing on the right, so I want to make sure that I got the same height. Going out and then back in. From here, I'm going to draw 2 straight lines going in towards the center of the chest. Right here, just like that. Making sure that they're roughly the same length. If they're not, you can always go back and readjust. From here, I'm going to come down with 2 angled lines coming down and in. And then from here, I'm going to go up into that point that we left off at the chest, in the sternum there. So that. In the center of the chest here, there's a little dial, a little detail, a little symbol. So I'm going to start with a circle right in the middle in between. From here, I'm just going to draw that little thing that kind of looks like this, but inverted, so it's flipped over. So I'm leaving a gap, and draw a little curve like this, and then round out and just trace around that circle so we can color that in with a nice glow effect later. Up here on this side of the chest, there's these 3 circles, so creating a little triangle shape. So start with 1, the bottom, moving over, drawing 2, and then in between, just above, I'll draw the 3rd one. Inside each circle, I'm just going to color it in black, like that. On this side, there seems to be 3 stripes that come across. So up here, I'm just going to draw like a very stretched out rectangle. 2 lines coming down, then across the back. I'm going to do this 3 times. Just coming down the side of the chest. And 1 more just down here. And across. Okay, so there's the upper chest. Let's work our way down towards the sternum and the rib cage. So here, I'm going to take this detail here, just sort of flip it over and create something interesting in the middle here. So, starting with a line across the middle, angling up on both sides. And do that again. I'm just going to trace this out just to give us a little bit more areas to do some interesting color later on. From here, let's keep working our way down. So with a short line, when we come down, it looks like it goes right up against the chest, like that. From here, we're going to work our way down. Let's do the abdominal, sort of the armor first. So from here, underneath the chest here, I'm going to draw 2 short lines. Again, looking at the space between the line and that corner, let's draw that straight line down. I'm going to come in with 2 angled lines coming in. Again, I'm looking at that point there, making sure that I'm sort of stopping at the same place on either side. Go out with an angled line. Okay, so again, making sure that I'm at the same length. I'll make this a little bit longer. Coming in. And I'm always keeping my eye, again, on the center line. And I'm always looking at the length that I'm coming down on both sides. Going across. Okay, and then back in. And looking at the center. Right there. And then going out again. And here I'm just going to finish it off by drawing 2 straight lines going down off my page like this. Okay, so that's the center abdominal area. We're going to leave the little details for now. We're just going to do the rib cage first. So up here, right where we started, we're going to take that corner here, draw a straight line across both sides. Let's go ahead and draw an angled line going out. Okay, now from here we're going to draw sort of the side of the body, but sort of looks like a rib cage that goes all the way down and works into this abdominal pattern here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with this corner here. I'm going to draw an angled line going out. This on both sides. And I want to make sure, again, I'm looking at that corner, making sure that I'm going to stop at the same height. And go across the short line. And then I'm going to take these points and just curve and round out to the bottom of the chest. So we're just going to bulge out the sides of the rib cage like that. Go ahead and do the sides on the bottom down here. So I'm going to take this line, I'm basically extending this line out. And making sure again that I'm on the same, I'm stopping at the same height. Taking this point and then rounding out to that point where the straight line meets that curve on the rib cage on both sides. Now we're going to take this point here, because this is lower, and go straight across with a short line. Now we're going to work our way up because the body's getting a little bit narrower. It's going to be hard to keep doing the same pattern over and over. So from here I'm going to go in a steeper angle, going up like this. And then from here I'm just going to curve the side of the rib cage there. So again, looking at the height, going across, and then rounding out the side of the body. Let's draw the sides of the body here. So up here, from this point, I'm going to move over a little bit and just curve and round out on both sides. Now we're going to get into the hips. So what I want to do is from this point, I'm going to intersect it with an angled line on both sides like this. Come down with a straight line just to finish off the bottom. And then from here, I'm just going to round out the hips on both sides. Let's do a little bit of abdominal detail. So in here, there's these little light dials, or these things that kind of look like this, but they're on either side. Let's start with a circle right here. That. Move over right here and draw the same thing. So the same size circle. And we're going to come straight down and draw another one here. Straight down from here. I'm looking at the center point from here and making sure also that I'm lined up with the one on the left. Another circle there. I'm going to come down again right here. Another circle, and then again right down here, and making sure it's lined up with the one on the left. In the inside of these circles, I'm going to draw a smaller circle. On these ones, there's these little angled lines that go across that work with sort of the angle of the rib cage. So from here, draw a curve like that. I'm going to go around the circle to the halfway point. Now if I'm looking at this from an angle, this is my halfway point. And I'm going to draw that little curve like that. I'm going to do that again over here. So rounding out, going around the circle to the halfway point, and doing that little line as well. On this side, we're going to do it on the opposite direction. So from this side, I'm going to do that little angled line, circle around, and then come out with that little line. Same thing on the bottom. Let's finish that off like that. Okay, so we got the inner parts of the body. Let's get into the arms. Now I'm keeping the detail very basic, but you can always go in and add more detail if you like. Let's start with the tops of the shoulder. So from this corner of the trapezius, I'm going to go out with a straight line on both sides, making sure that they're the same length again. Let me just close this off here. Now on this side, I want to round out the shoulder in towards the upper arm. So I want the shoulders to be quite wide. So I'm just going to curve around like that. Let's go to the right side and do the same thing. So again, this is going to be tricky because there's quite a distance that I have to keep my eye on. So here, I'm basically looking at the chest line. The shoulder comes down just a little bit more. Right there. So I'm going to curve the side of the shoulder on the right side. Now we're going to come up in an angle. So on the left side, we're going to go up and then go across. Now from here, what I'm looking at is the center of the chest here. So it's basically around the same height as the center of the chest. I'll make that a little bit longer and then angle down towards the shoulder point. So that's some detail. So on the side here, I'm just going to draw a half circle. This, and then I'm going to reverse the curve with a smaller circle going in the opposite direction. Up here, I'm going to draw an oval, sort of in an angle this way. Starting from the top, I'll round out like this, and then I'm just going to trace the inside and just draw a smaller one on the inside. Let's go ahead and draw the same thing on this side. So again, lining up across, so right about here, I'm going to draw that half circle, and draw the reverse inside. Now that oval, so up here, draw an oval like this, and then trace out the inside area. Like that. Now let's get into the upper arm. So here, I'm going to have the arm coming down towards the elbow, which will be located right about here. So I'm going to take this point in the shoulder, I'm going to curve and round out the outside of the arm. So now this is my elbow joint here. So from this point, I'm going to curve in. I'm going to draw a straight line across. Now I'm going to take this line and curve up underneath that chest. So going up like that. Let's do the same thing on this side. So again, starting from that point in the shoulder, coming down to the same height on the right side. So right about there. I'm going to take this down to the bottom, which is right here. Curving down, straight line across the bottom. Now I'm going to tuck this in underneath that chest. Curving and rounding out like that. Let's go ahead and add some detail while we're working on this. So up here, I'm going to draw a straight line across, sort of in line with the same line with the chest, going across like this. From here, I'm going to angle out. So go to the right side, we'll do the same thing. Again, making sure that they're the same height and length. From here, I'm going to come down on both sides like that. Make this a little bit longer. And then going out in an angle to the side, outside of the arm, like that. From this point, I'm going to curve to the bottom point of that shoulder, going up like this. In here, I'm just going to step up from that point, going up in an angle, going across, and leaving a little gap. I'm going to come down in the opposite angle. We're going to start on the inside on this side. So going up in a small angle, going across, then down. Now we're going to finish this off with the forearms. So from this point in the upper arm, I'm just going to simply round out the outside of the arm. And then from here, I'm going to go about halfway down this line, between this point and this point, and draw a reverse curve for the inside of the arm. Let's do the same thing on the right side. So from here, just going to curve and round out the outside of the arm. Again, find the center point between this point and this point, rounding out the inside of the arm. For just a little bit of detail here, I'm going to start on the outside, come in an angle, and then go up in the opposite direction. From this point, I'm just going to pull a line straight down. Do the same thing on this side. So going down at an angle, going up, again making sure I'm just keeping my eye on the height that I'm drawing these. Pull a straight line down. The final part, we're just going to put a very simple sword just strapped over his shoulder. So back here, just over the shoulder here, I'm going to draw two angled lines going in towards each other. Take these 2 points, draw a straight line. From here, I'm just going to draw a little box in here. So stepping in on the left side, stepping in on the right side with a short line, going across. Now here, the sword handle looks like it's curved. So I want to make my way back down to this point, to the tip of the back of the sword. So I'm just going to curve and round this out into there, leaving a little overlap here. From the top, just cap that off with a straight line, and go down at an angle. I'm going to come in with a short angle, and then from here I'm just going to curve in towards the outside of the handle. A little bit of detail here, go straight across here. We're just going to add a little bit of cool little cuts into the sword handle. Draw one more right across here. Oh, and one final detail, I'm going to draw the little button that goes up here. So up here, I'm just going to draw a straight line here, go across, and down at an angle. And that is pretty much it. There we have it. There's Genji from Overwatch. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Please give us a like and make sure you subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon.